One Piece 2023 is a live-action adaptation by Netflix of the very popular long-running manga and anime series of the same name by Ichiro Oda, and stars Inaki Godoroy as Monkey D. Luffy, a young man with the ability to stretch all of his limbs thanks to the strange abilities of a fruit known as a devil fruit, and has a huge dream to become the king of the pirates, which can only be obtained by finding the One Piece, an epic treasure that was laid to rest somewhere by the very famous and now deceased pirate Gold Roger, who told everyone before his public execution that the treasure was somewhere beyond the Grand Line and they had to find it. So alongside other pirates and sort of non-pirates, Luffy now must try to find the One Piece alongside his crew, and also try to get past a bunch of other pirates who seek the One Piece. Alongside Luffy, there is the rest of the Straw Hat crew, as they are later named, such as Nami, played by Emily Rudd, Roanoa Zoro, played by Makinyu, Usopp, played by Jacob Romero, and finally Sanji, played by Taz Skylar. For the rest of the main cast, you have the main villains, or also main antagonists, such as the other pirates pursuing the One Piece, as well as the Marines, who are trying to, lay down the law for the seas and take out the Straw Hats and other pirates. So there's the sort of main Grand Admiral of the Navy, or the Marines, Garp, played by Vincent Regan. And then for the pirates, you've got Buggy the Clown, played by Jeff Ward, and Arlon the Fishman, played by McKinley Belcher III. Then on the side a little bit, you've got Kobe, played by Morgan Davies, who first meets Luffy in the first episode and is saved by Luffy from, captivity from a pirate named Alvida. And, he sets him free, and Kobe wants to join the Marines because he thinks he can, do good by people by being part of them, and Luffy seems to have no real problem with him doing that. And then working alongside Kobe as cadet is Helmpo, it's a weird name, played by Aidan Scott, who is the son of one of the other top men in the Marines, who is kind of a spoiled Nepo baby, you could call him, but he is still kind of a funny character who pops up alongside Kobe and kind of adds an extra bit of perspective in the series alongside the main Marines. Now, I am a decently big anime fan, so it is a little surprising, this might be a little surprising to some of you, that I have not actually watched the One Piece anime or read the manga. I've only seen the first episode of the anime, and that was a while ago, and I forgot to check out the rest of the series. And the series is very long, as some of you may know. The anime is pretty long. Even a single season is 60 episodes, I think. So it is a little hard to breeze through that to kind of see how this adaptation measures up. So for the most part, I'm mostly going off of just straight up quality of the product itself when it comes to, giving my opinion. which to a degree you should kind of do for an adaptation. Like, you should still try to look at everything they're doing with an adaptation from a somewhat objective perspective, but then still try to afterward show some of your own opinions on like what they did with the characters or the story. But me personally, I think this show is really good. Of course, there is the big, worry a lot of people have, including myself, that this is just another live-action anime adaptation that absolutely fails. Because even if it, is written and acted by Japanese people who you would imagine might have more, care and love for the thing they're adapting, it's not always the case. And Netflix has helped with the amount of not so great anime adaptations, including, Death Note, Full Metal Alchemist, Bleach, and all that. And then before that, there's like famously bad ones like Dragon Ball Evolution and so on. But this is like really good. It's a really good anime adaptation. Well, I say that, but I still haven't seen One Piece actually, so I don't know how faithful it is, but I think it's still pretty good. The characters are great. I think Inaki Godoy as Luffy is pretty spot on from what I have mostly seen of the character. Like, he is famous for just having a big grin on his face almost at all times, and he fits that energy very well. He's just very happy most of the time, and you gotta love him. And then all the other characters are really good. Zoro is, a very stoic warrior type. He's got like 3 katanas with him at all times, and he usually only uses 2, except for every now and then where he puts the handle of the third sword in his mouth, and he's kind of like just maneuvering, doing cool stuff. It's pretty cool. I like him as well. Then there's Nami, who is like not entirely a pirate. She's more so a thief than a pirate, and she mentions every now and then that she hates pirates. But she's also interesting, and she has a pretty, interesting backstory and a interesting arc by the end of the show. Then there's Usopp, who is like more so a comedic character, almost next to Luffy. He's like telling stories that aren't really true, and of course he wants to be a great pirate captain like his dad, so that's pretty cool. And then finally Sanji is like a very badass hand-to-hand fighter. He's like, always smoking, and he is very great at cooking food, and he basically becomes like the personal chef of the Straw Hats. And in real life, he's even basically got his own cookbook, because they made it like an official One Piece cookbook at some point from Sanji's perspective almost. So that's pretty interesting. The story, I would say, is pretty good. It's kind of like pretty segmented. It's like meant to set up these characters as they all find each other and create their crew, and make their collective plan to find the One Piece, and also pursue their own personal dreams. And that's also a part of Luffy's character for the most part. He wants everyone to get their dreams, to not stop, pursuing that, and I think that's pretty interesting. I like how optimistic Luffy is and how he wants people to be happy. I already mentioned the villains, but I'd say they're definitely a great highlight, especially the pirates, the pirate bad guys. And I can definitely tell that villains are a pretty big part of One Piece, especially like around the whole like theme of them. Like each pirate kind of has their own theme. Like Buggy, the clown, is a clown, and like his whole crew is themed around the circus people. It's definitely kind of cool, and his performance in particular, Jeff Ward, is pretty great. He does a great job at being funny and also pretty threatening at the same time. And then you got Arlon, who, as I said before, is a fishman. And there's like this, big thing where he's talking about how, the fish people have been like enslaved for years because of how powerful they can be, like around the seas. And he wants to, fight back, even though he wants to, kill all the humans, essentially. And, he's got kind of an interesting vibe to him. Of course, most of the theme of him and his crew is kind of almost beach themed, I would say. They're, most of them are wearing stuff you would wear during the summer or at the beach. On top of that, there's kind of like a hip-hop sounding theme that usually plays whenever he and his crew are around in an like important moment with him involved. So there's those two sort of themes mixing together to fit that sort of theme that the fish people follow a little bit. All pretty cool stuff, both these villains, and I'm sure there's going to be like more interesting villains for future seasons, I'm sure. So overall, I really enjoy the show. I don't think I really had any problems with it, other than they made a character who pretends to be a bad person a little too unlikable for a little bit in one episode. But that might just be more so a slight nitpick, only a slight one. But maybe that's just how good of an actor that person is, and also how good aspects of that section of the story is set up. But other than that, this is a fantastic show, and I'd highly recommend it. I don't know if I could recommend to One Piece fans, because again, haven't seen the full thing, the original, so I don't know if this is faithful or if this is something fans really want. But I have seen a lot of, videos and headlines around the internet of people saying it's good, so I'm at least glad that people are enjoying it, even if they're One Piece fans or not. So, yeah, I recommend this show. It does a good job of mixing, comedy, adventure, and also emotion and some decently dark moments, and just mixes all into a ball of pretty good fun, I would say. I think it's one of the best TV shows I've seen this year. I'm trying to, think of some of the TV shows of this year. I would say, Last of Us was really good, but this is also really good. I'm going to give the first season of One Piece 2023 a 9 out of 10. The best I can give. I hope you enjoyed this review of the first season of One Piece. I really hope that they do make more seasons, because I'm interested in seeing where it all goes in a more condensed form. check out some of my other stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. So you take care.